Hmm. Yo, what is happening? So today I just want to talk about fitness. Man, oh, my hair is so long. Fitness. So when I was growing up, I was pretty big boy. So his picture. I was a pretty big boy, and the reason I got into fitness was just to be able to feel good about myself. I liked girls, and I was super shy. I didn't know how to talk to girls, so obviously because of all the magazines and whatnot, I figured that getting super jacked would give me the girls. So I got really jacked. It took me maybe like 2 years or so, and that was one of the major accomplishments of my life. So I was probably around like 19, 20 at that time when I had lost the majority of my weight. And I got like pretty jacked, pretty shredded. Like that was my life. I carried around like 6 meals a day. I didn't eat out. I worked out religiously 6 times a week, and that was like a huge monumental goal in my life that I had accomplished. But the issue was I started holding on to that for years after I had already accomplished it. So let's say I finished it around when I was like 20 or so, 19 or 20. And even when I was like 22, 23, 24, even 25, I caught myself in a pattern of, I would always have this urge in my brain whenever I meet someone or talk to someone. I would always want to reference back and pull back to the fact that I was like 260. I'd lost like 80 pounds. And it was after like years, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years, when I realized, wow, I just keep referencing that. Like that's been my major accomplishment for the past like 5 or 6 years now. And that's what defined me. That's what like made me feel like I was not a good human being, but like an accomplished human being. And that's when I noticed, I was like, yo, I need to do something more than just have lost 80 pounds. It would have been cool, for the past, or after like 1 or 2 years, for me to be like, oh yeah, I did this, I accomplished this. But it was after I graduated college. I was into working already, or trying to start my business and working. But I kept referencing it even after all that time had passed, and I hadn't accomplished anything really significant outside of that. So I was, even when I first started trying to start my business, I wasn't really making any money, but I could always hold on to the fact that I lost like 80 pounds 6 years ago. And that was able to kind of do these mental gymnastics and make me feel okay about it. As long as I had that in my head. And that's when I realized I had to evolve past that. I had to have more than just that to who I was. I had to figure out something else I wanted to accomplish. I didn't want to just hold on to that thing that defined me. And I realized, like, if something were to happen, I were to get in a car accident or something, and I lost my physique and my ability to work out, like, would I be okay? Would I be okay with, or would I crumble because that was who I was? And I felt like if I were to answer truthfully, I feel like I would lose my sense of value. I would lose who I was, because that was the scaffolding to my character at the time. And even now, I'm doing pretty good now. I'm understanding my business, and I'm doing pretty good for my career now. And that became the next shift. I noticed, like, in my head, that was my scaffold of who I was. I was able to do well for myself and be able to take my business, my freelancing, and make a good living with it. And I noticed, like, the scaffolding changed from the fitness thing, I lost 80 pounds, to I'm doing well with my business. And that's when I get, again, that pattern realized, like, I don't want to be defined by one thing. I don't want my entire character to be defined by this scaffold of either like fitness or business, which should be like an ever-evolving, like, collective thing. I don't want to have me and who I feel I am dependent on something like that, something like fitness or work or whatever. think it's just the key for me to keep it in check is to just constantly reevaluate and see, as long as I'm growing in some direction, and I'm not stagnant, I'm not just holding on to something that I accomplished years and years ago. I think that's kind of like the popular athlete in high school that holds on to the fact that they were like varsity QB and that they're like 30 now, but they're able to like hold on to that. Like, I don't want to be like 30 and holding on to the fact that I lost 80 pounds like 12 years ago. And I've been working on that to not have that define who I am, and to work on different things in my life that define me. My business, I want learning to be more articulate. I just want to have more to me than just one thing. And of course, like, if fitness is your like life living, that's how you make your living, then that will be a huge part of your life. But I think it's, if it were to be taken away from you, would you be okay still, or was that the structure and the scaffolding to who your character was? So just wanted to share that, my experience with that, because I was holding on to that for like until I was 25, 26. That was my huge life accomplishment, and I wasn't progressing anywhere else in my life, but I was okay like holding on to that one thing, and I felt good about it because it was a substantial goal to me. But the problem is when I'm holding on to it like 7 years from before and like trying to make myself feel good about myself the present day because I did that 7 years ago. So I think the key is just constantly evolve, work on different character attributes, and to not be pigeonholed as one thing defining who you are. So, alrighty, until tomorrow. Probably should get a haircut. Peace. Yo, what is happening? These videos that I make are more so for myself, and I'm not perfect. I'm just evolving, trying to be a better human being, trying to be the best I can be and reach my potential. I just wanted to share everything that I've learned. So I'm in no sort of a guru or anything, but if you found value in what I was trying to say, or if you resonate at all, please, give me a like, try to subscribe, and I'll see you at the top of self-actualization. Peace.